Hey guys, my name's Conor.
And my name's Mike.
Welcome to Robotics. We're going to help you through your rookie year.
That's right, we'll be taking you through preseason, we're taking you through kickoff, build season, competition, and lastly what to do when you get back.
First off, preseason. We're going to go through a few tips. You should definitely talk to teams who've already competed in a previous FRC competition.
Definitely, talk to local schools, read the game manual from last year, watch videos from FRC, and most importantly, ask questions on forums. Everybody in the FRC community is very friendly, they'll be eager to answer your questions. They're a big help for us, hopefully they can help you too.
The main goal for preseason is just to understand the way FRC works.
My name is Mike Ginger and I'm one of the main builders. For rookie teams, my main advice is just go to schools around your area, talk to people on forums, just try to amass a collection of motors and sims, stuff like that.
My name is Kobe Levine. I was originally a programmer, but then after the competition I ended up doing social media. Really, right now, because they don't know what the competition is next year, they should be focusing on trying to get a following on social media, get their name out there, be known when they get to the competition, as well as trying to market and get some capital in before it starts, before build season. I think social media is really important for FRC because when you go to get sponsors, they're going to want to see what you've done, and having a social media page you can just send them to or link them to or whatever, it'll be a lot easier than having to bring a bunch of photos in or something like that. Also, when it comes to something like our school or even community teams, it'll sort of generate sort of hype, I guess, and make people more aware of FRC.
It's time for the kickoff. Let's talk about kickoff. Kickoff is a very important time for you rookies. It's the first time you will see the year's game, and it's also the first time you'll get access to the year's game manual. That game manual is pretty much going to be your Bible for the next month.
It's your job to read through the manual over and over until you understand the rules. But beware, throughout the build season, FRC will release updates to the rules. Make sure your team understands not only the manual, but also these updates to these rules.
Kickoff will also be the first day you get access to a kit of parts. As the name implies, it is a kit of parts. It'll include the basic chassis, sim motors, screws, bolts, and much, much more. Make sure when you get this, you take inventory to make sure you have no missing pieces.
Your goal by the end of the day is to have a moving chassis. There will be many teams who will be willing to help as long as you ask. Make sure your team sets strict deadlines for progress, otherwise it can put you very off track and waste precious time.
Good luck rookies, and we hope to see you at the regionals.
Hi, my name is Prijesh Madaliar and I am the team captain, and also I am part of the drive team. Okay, so I kept the team focused and willing to learn by keeping the build season fun. If I hadn't kept it fun, no one would be willing to learn or anything, right? And our quality of product will go way down. Let's see. I helped all the different factions of the team, like the marketing team, the program team, in different ways. Sometimes I got really frustrated. To keep it fun for them, I just helped them. Like, for example, for the programming team, Kyle, our lead programmer, he had some trouble with the math for like to regulate the acceleration, I believe. So I had to come up with the assign function to help him do that. And then he just programmed it in and we're good to go.
My name is Kyle Sabral. I'm the lead programmer and the electrical management chief. Okay, so basically amateur programmers can expect to face new challenges to those similar to learning a new language. For example, when you learn French or Spanish or whatever, you have to learn the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives. But in the case of FRC Java, you have to learn the methods, what else? The methods, the protocols, the subsystems, like the hierarchy, etc. for everything. You need to know when you need to use private classes, public classes, interfaces, etc. And you need to be able to write interfaces that work well with your game controllers, because sometimes your game controllers change, and then when you put one game controller into your code, it doesn't work well with the other code, so then you get like this jumbled mess that doesn't really work. And like your controls work backwards, so you push forward, it turns left, you push backwards, it goes right, like you don't know what's going on.
Honestly, all you need is just be willing to learn. A lot of the stuff this season I didn't know, and I went in unprepared, but by the end, you just learn the skills as you go. So as long as you're willing to learn, you can build the robot. Hello.
Hey,
It's been 8 weeks, and it's all led up to this one moment.
yup, it's competition. We're gonna go over some tips that we would have found helpful for our rookie year. What you're gonna wanna do is assign roles for your team. So a team for socializing and advertising, and another team for pits or pit crew. You're gonna want 5 members and 1 mentor.
Going on the pits, you also need to keep your pits very clean. This is going to be your central hub throughout the games. It's important to keep them clean, not just because you'll get docked points, but also because it presents a very big hazard. If you aren't doing anything in the pits, make sure you stay out of people who are working this way.
And remember to be prepared. Always bring your own tools and double check if you have them. And if you don't have a specific tool, ask other teams if they have one, because other teams are always helpful.
Another very important thing to do is socialize. You can walk around to other team pits and tell them about who you are and what your robot does. Make sure they're interested and make sure they remember your name at the end of the day.
Now we're going to talk about work days. Some can be very hard to go through, being 10 plus hours. But you're going to want to try to stay focused. And a great way to do this is to ask your teammates if they need help with anything. And if they don't, then go around and advertise your team. It's good to get your name out there.
Also, take initiative throughout the workday. Do not wait for other team members to give you instructions. And also, going on the workdays, make sure you drink lots of caffeine. It will save you.
You're also going to want merchandise. So pins, bracelets, and during our rookie year, we even saw a team with dog tags. These are going to help get your name out there and for other teams to remember you.
When your team is up there and they're on the field, not all of your team has to be watching. Have a few members of your team dedicated to just going around scouting out robots.
And remember, if your team isn't ranked number 20, it's not about ranking really. It's just about having fun and just gathering info. This is your rookie year. You're only doing this to gather info for next year.
You can come back stronger and fight harder. Ayid, goodbye.
It's lit! My name is Kamar Sandhu. I was part of the drive team, specifically the human player. The atmosphere during the competition in the pits was, it was different depending on what was happening. Like it could be frustrating, but mostly it was just fun and just working hard. If someone isn't doing anything, they can go around, just talk to the other teams, get to know about their robot, tell them about ours, and that helps us because it will help us form plans with our alliances, get to know our opposition, and if they don't want to do that, they can always just sit in the stands and just cheer us on. That always helps us. To stay focused, you just have to get in there, take initiative, and just do stuff, you know? And the days will just go by quick.
I think the hardest part was just keeping everybody on track, just making sure that everybody had work to do and wasn't just sitting there.
You stay focused because like there's always something new to do. For example, when we were in our last day, our main goal was to build the climbing mechanism. So like you didn't really care if you're tired because when you get that climbing mechanism, your rank it just goes up. It's good.
So for all the new drivers out there, you just gotta make sure you learn all the controls, talk with the programmer if anything is like out of whack or not working properly, and do your best and have fun.
Yep. Competition is finally over. That means you can rest, right? Not exactly. You still got a couple more things to do.
Yep. First thing you want to do is get your team together in a meeting and just go over what went down at the competition. Whether good or bad, it doesn't matter because you can always be improving.
Exactly. Just keep a running list of things to do and just reference this every year. Another very important thing you need to keep in mind is sponsors. You need to start your sponsorships early so you can make sure you have the money waiting for you. You don't want to go into FRC season and realize you don't have enough money. Typically, more money equals a better quality robot.
And stemming from the sponsors, you also want to be locally fundraising because this keeps a good revenue flowing back into your program. So what you can do is sell candy or food during lunch hours.
Another very important thing you need to keep in mind is recruits. When recruiting new teammates, make sure they understand how the robot works. This means for the programming team, they need to be able to take apart the code and put it back together better. For the build team, this means they need to be able to take apart the robot, improve on designs, and make your robot just work better.
Yup, and also when looking for recruits, remember to go to your younger peers as well, because you're eventually going to leave this program and they're going to be taking over your jobs. So just go to them, show them your robot, and try to get them interested.
That's all for this year, alumni. We'll see you next time.
Yep, remember, stay lit.
To prepare for next season, I think the best thing you can do is take the robot you have and just drive it around as much as you can, take it apart, strip it, redo the code, just work with robotics as much as you can.
Okay, next year's team, or whatever year's team they can prepare on, is by learning Java and C++ early. In our team, most of our team didn't even know Java or anything, so then we had to learn Java in the span of 2 months. Had we known Java for longer, we would have been able to write an FRC program that would have been a lot better in the actual competition, because in the competition we faced issues such as the robot going twice as far in autonomous when it shouldn't. So then, like, if you know Java a lot more than we do, then you'll be fine.
Well, the most hardest part overall in my case is trying to overcome the constantly changing controls, because we try to make it climb in the last minute. So everything else is pretty fun.